say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, and welcome to the University of Maine at Augusta's 52nd commencement ceremony for the class of 2020. Thank you, Allison Erwin, Melissa Herron, Elizabeth Nickel, Megan Record, and Betsy Short-Neves for a beautiful rendition of our national anthem. I would note that these UMA students hail from the states of Maine, Georgia, New Jersey, Louisiana, and Florida, exemplifying that UMA truly does transform the lives of students across Maine and beyond. Graduates, honorees, special guests, faculty, staff, family, and friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to this commencement celebrating the class of 2020. My name is Rebecca Wyke, and I am the president of the University of Maine at Augusta. To begin, I would like to share with you a little bit about our students here at UMA. As a statewide commuter institution encompassing 2 campuses, 8 centers, and 32 learning sites across Maine, our students hail from all 16 counties and over 400 communities in the state. 2/3 of our students are considered non-traditional over the age of 25, many of whom are also working and raising children in our communities. We also have a growing contingent of traditional students seeking to live at home while attending college. Fully half of our students are the first in their families to attend college. What all of our students have in common is that they needed higher education to meet them where they were. And that is what we do here at UMA. To bring this home, 57% of our graduates today were enrolled in online programs. More than half transferred in credits earned elsewhere to help them advance towards the completion of their degree at UMA. 2/3 are the first in their family to attend college, and fully 92% call our great state of Maine home. Our youngest 2020 graduate is now age 20. Joshua Aaron Blackman is from Thomaston, Maine, and began taking early college courses in writing and public speaking through our Rockland Center. Last year, Joshua earned his associate's degree in public administration at the age of 19 and is now working full-time and gaining more life experience. Our most mature 2020 graduate, Anita Janice Tufts, is a half-century older and last year earned her Bachelor of Applied Science. Congratulations to Joshua and Anita on your accomplishments. And to all our graduates here today, we are so pleased that you entrusted your educational goals to UMA. Also today, I'd like to especially recognize our graduating veterans and military personnel. Please accept our gratitude for your service to our country. And on behalf of our graduates, I want to extend my sincere appreciation to the family and friends gathered here and to the faculty and staff of UMA for supporting our graduates on their path to a degree. Your support was integral to their success. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Richard Thompson, Chair of the University of Maine at Augusta Board of Visitors, who will provide greetings from the board to the graduates.
Good morning. First, it is my pleasure to represent the UMA's Board of Visitors to join in your celebration. The Board of Visitors are members of your community, and we take part in a variety of activities to benefit UMA. We advocate and raise funds for the university, provide feedback and advice to UMA's President Wyke, and make recommendations to the University of Maine System Board of Trustees on various matters. Like UMA and its statewide mission in many locations, our members come from across Maine. We work within corporations, government, nonprofits, and small business, providing a valuable viewpoint to serve UMA and especially its students. As chair, it is my privilege to take part in today's ceremony and offer congratulations on behalf of all the board members. We believe in the mission of this university. We believe in each of you. Most importantly, to be here today, you believed in yourselves and committed to not only reaching your own goal, but the willingness to be patient in return to celebrate your success with us today. Thank you for sharing this moment with us and your family and friends. We know it required sacrifice and persistence. No matter the path you chose, you have accomplished this goal. It is likely you did not do this alone. Support came from family and friends and from many members of the UMA community. Today, we admire and congratulate our graduates on their achievements and recognize your perseverance in obtaining your degree. We also thank the UMA faculty and staff for their commitment to our students and their contributions to our graduates' success. Once again, on behalf of the Board of Visitors, congratulations and best wishes for your future endeavors.
I am now pleased to introduce Gillian Jordan, UMA Professor of English and President of the Faculty Senate, who will provide greetings from the faculty.
Hello. On behalf of the faculty, I'm honored to welcome graduates, friends, and family to today's commencement ceremony. First, I'd like to congratulate the graduates. You should be proud, for you have worked hard to get to the special day when your achievements will be formally recognized. I would also like to congratulate your families and friends who have stood solidly behind you and beside you while you pursued your dreams. What we celebrate here today is not only your academic graduation, but your discovery of self, a stronger, more confident self whose opportunities are unlimited. I congratulate each of you and wish you the best of luck as you continue to grow academically, professionally, and personally with each new challenge you accept. Although you cannot see us live on campus today, my colleagues and I are cheering at your success. We wish you the best.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Chancellor Dannel Malloy to provide congratulations to UMA's graduates, followed by James Erwin, Chair of the University of Maine System Board of Trustees, with greetings from the board.
It is a pleasure to be with you. I want to thank all of the staff, faculty, and most importantly, the students of the University of Maine, Augusta, and congratulate you on your successful completion of your studies. I also want to thank your president for the outstanding work that she does on your behalf and on behalf of the entire system. As you move forward in a post-pandemic world, remember that many people have contributed to your education. They have found ways to support you and care for you. They've found ways to support the communities in which you live. I ask that you, as you move through your future, that you always remember the greater good and find ways to give back to the broader community as others have given to you. Congratulations on your success.
Greetings to you all from the University of Maine System Board of Trustees. I'm Jim Erwin, Chair of the Board. Once again, we find our university's most important events compromised by a viral pandemic. For those of you who may have endured the disease or have family members who did, please accept our sympathies and wishes for a return to good health. While this pandemic is not quite ready to let go, to succumb to the laws of epidemiology, neither are we succumbing to the pandemic, not by a long shot. Instead, we gather by virtual means to do what it is so important for us to do, to take the time to celebrate the achievements of our 4,000 degree recipients across all our campuses. At this time last year, even as we celebrated with amazement the ability of students, faculty, and staff to turn on a dime from in-person to 100% remote learning in a matter of days, and to press ahead to finish the year's work, we looked back and said, what just hit us? At that point, it would have been easy to get discouraged, to step back, to hold out for the experience you thought you had signed up for. And yet, a remarkable 87% of our students continued from fall to spring, compared to 75% a year earlier when there was no pandemic. The board is so very impressed by and proud of the individual decisions and commitments this number reflects. Once again, students, families, faculty, and staff have shown their main bona fides, pulling together with tremendous resilience, adaptability, patience, cooperation, and persistence. So this year, even as we remark with astonishment on the emergence in real time of a very different higher ed experience, many of the attributes of which will stay with us long after COVID departs from center stage, we look back and think, what a long, strange trip it's been. Well, commencement, of course, is also a time to look forward. So let me take a moment to do that. First, remember as you carry this experience with you that pandemics like this one are very uncommon. They're like 100-year floods. We don't really engineer our institutions to withstand them, and we have to adapt on the fly. I hope you will draw from your triumph over this level of adversity an extra measure of confidence in the next phases of your lives. Second, many of you have spent the last 4 or so years acquiring the skills and knowledge needed for a specific vocation. But some of you have not. You've entered college not knowing you needed to explore, to experiment. Maybe you know now, maybe you're not there yet. But whatever your path, the one acquisition that should be common to you all should be the ability to think critically and for yourself. We're bombarded regularly from every direction with carefully packaged messages purporting to distill the complexities of our society and even human nature itself into conveniently simple memes. These memes get repeated enough to become accepted as fact. Often they are anything but. For example, when you hear "follow the science," stop and question. Science is a process of inquiry, not a magical incantation that confers legitimacy on a theory or a contention. Ask, what is the science underlying the command to follow it? And when you hear "do the math," well, that's generally a good idea, but try to make sure it's the right math. Your world is going to be awash in data and data analyses, and they will not all be trustworthy. Try to understand what's behind them. Try to satisfy yourself that it's the right math. Critical thinking, whether it's following the science, doing the math, or some other form of due diligence, will rarely provide certitude. Often, however, it can lead you to an understanding of probabilities that help you make good decisions. If your university experience has given you the ability and the inclination to approach important decisions with that kind of thinking, then we did our job. I want to conclude by looking ahead for our system as well. The pandemic caused us to make sudden and extensive modifications to how we operate at great cost so that you and your fellow students, faculty, and staff would be able to continue your education safely and largely uninterrupted. At the same time, we've tried very hard to keep our eyes on and over the horizon. We have many challenges, and we are applying our best critical thinking skills to identify the best strategies to overcome those challenges, so that improving student success through better accessibility, affordability, relevance, and efficiency can be our everyday focus. But in addition to these challenges, we have many opportunities as well. A new engineering facility at the University of Maine nearing completion. Construction about to begin on a Student Success Center and the first residence halls for the University of Southern Maine's Portland campus. A new accreditation model that fosters collaboration across the system to make all of our programs widely accessible and to improve academic efficiency. And an unprecedented gift from the Harold Alfond Foundation that includes creation of a system-wide College of Engineering, Computing, and Information Science, funding for 3 system-wide initiatives to improve student success, and the completion of the University of Maine Graduate and Professional Center and related plans for investment in our law school. I'm proud to say that despite the disruption, we have persevered together. So once again, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations for staying the course in a time of unprecedented challenge and change, and best wishes for what lies ahead.
The Kathleen Dexter Distinguished Student Award is given annually to one of UMA's top all-around graduating students. The criteria for selection include scholarship, participation in leadership and co-curricular activities, and service to the wider community. I'm Sherry Fraser, UMA's Dean of Students, and it is my privilege to present the 2020 Dexter Distinguished Student Award to Courtney Allen. Courtney's baccalaureate in interdisciplinary studies allowed her to weave together a self-designed program focused on mental health, justice, and public policy. She earned a stellar GPA and was recognized for scholarly achievements and honors, including being a UMA Rising Scholar, attaining Dean's List every full-time semester, enrollment in the honors program, receiving the Heart and Soul Award, and participating in Maine New Leadership Emerge Maine. And while Courtney was persistent and dedicated to achieving her educational goals at UMA, her true goal was to gain the skills and knowledge needed to fight for social justice as an effective community advocate. She didn't wait to graduate to start applying her new knowledge. Courtney quickly absorbed each class and experience and found ways to immediately put it back out into the world. Early on, she joined UMA's Trio Scholars program and soon became a peer mentor where she inspired other students with her story of resilience and survival and nurtured them with sensitivity and creativity. Courtney is especially passionate about helping those experiencing addiction to find accessible and effective pathways to recovery. While a student, Courtney founded and directed the nonprofit Recovery Residence James Place. One of her faculty nominators for this award commented, "There have been many times when I have wished that I was as brave, as committed, and as proactive as Courtney." Courtney has become an effective communicator and collaborator, engaging with local, state, and national organizations and governing bodies on many topics related to addiction and recovery. She works with state officials to pass legislation. She's been a speaker at conferences and served as an intern for Senator Angus King in Washington, D.C. We are in the unique position of having the opportunity to have seen our 2020 award recipient in action throughout the year following her graduation. Courtney's list of successes has grown, and her positive impact continues. Courtney recently took the oath of office as an Augusta Counselor at Large. Her committee assignment, Substance Use Task Force. At her swearing-in ceremony, Courtney stated, and I quote, "The weight of taking this oath in this exact moment in time is not lost on me. Thank you, Augusta, for entrusting me with this duty." End quote. Courtney, UMA is so very proud of you. We know that the citizens of Augusta chose well for their city, just as we chose well for UMA's 2020 Distinguished Student. Congratulations, Courtney. Now that you've heard a bit about the remarkable Courtney Allen, I'm going to turn the podium over so that you may hear directly from her. I give you our 2020 Student Commencement Speaker, Courtney Allen.
Hello, class of 2020. My name is Courtney Allen. I am the Policy Director of the Maine Recovery Advocacy Project, serve on the Augusta City Council as an at-large councilwoman, and today I officially join you as a graduate of the class of 2020 from the University of Maine at Augusta. As a new graduate, I'm looking forward to staying right here in Maine, getting married to my wonderful partner, Ryan, and committing my life to ensuring that Maine is a place that when my children, Wyatt and Eamon, grow up, they can also stay here to live, work, and play. Class of 2020, I know that the last year has not been easy. Many of us have lost our jobs or been sent home from our internships. Some of us spent the last weeks of our undergrad learning to become the teachers of our children. And there may be some people within our ranks who have lost loved ones to the teeny virus that forced us all to change nearly everything about our lives, but for the collective good of our community. On top of all of that, our graduation was canceled. We didn't get to walk together. And I know that you were disappointed. I am too. Therefore, I will not stand before you today and discount those realities. Because honestly, tough times and things not going as planned are sort of the story of my life. I grew up in a small town in Maine where everybody knew my name. I come from a family deeply affected by generational poverty and trauma. I'm a first-generation college student who stopped attending school regularly in the 7th grade and had my first son at 15. I got my GED at 16 and started waiting tables at the local ice cream parlor. By the time I showed up at the steps of UMA, I had 2 small boys and was in early recovery from substance use. There are so many reasons why I should not be standing before you today. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that my plan never included doing so, let alone being able to say that I have served as an intern for Senator Angus King and have gone on to seek my graduate degree at the Muskie School of Public Service. And have had the privilege of helping to craft sound public policy decisions to some of Maine's most pressing problems. I promise you those things were not in the plan. But thank God for things not going as planned, because it's in that space between what we plan for ourselves and what actually happens that we find out who we were always meant to be. In class of 2020, it's in that space that we have learned who we are. We are the nurses who have put our lives on the front lines in ways that were never expected before. We are the counselors who have helped to flatten the curve of depression, substance use, and isolation to bring comfort to our clients. We are the teachers who have returned to our community ready to walk our children into a new generation of learning. We are the pilots who have developed creative ways to keep our planes safe. We are the scientists who have helped to develop a vaccine. And we are the small business owners who have kept Maine's economy going. We are the graduate students who have gone on to study public health, policy, medicine, and law. And we are the advocates whose voices are bold, especially in the face of injustice. Because we are resilient and fierce, and we do not back down when things get tough. Instead, we dig deep and show up for each other. So class of 2020, I challenge us not to see this time in history as our greatest tragedy, but as our greatest opportunity to serve the state of Maine, our nation, and our world. Because that's what we did. We are the front line. And with us on the front lines, I know that we will recover. And honestly, there isn't anyone else I'd rather be serving with. So thank you, class of 2020. We did it.
It is now my honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Senator Angus King. In January 2013, Angus King was sworn in as Maine's first independent United States Senator. He is a member of the Armed Services Committee, the Select Committee on Intelligence, the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, and the Committee on Rules and Administration. Since taking office, Senator King has achieved significant legislative victories. He led efforts to draft and pass the Student Loan Certainty Act of 2013, which averted drastic increases in student loan interest rates, saved students across the country more than $50 billion in interest payments, and set the program on a path to long-term financial stability. A leading voice in the importance of improving America's cybersecurity, Senator King was selected by congressional leadership to co-chair the Cyberspace Solarium Commission, a bipartisan effort established by Congress to review the threats facing America in cyberspace and develop a forward-looking plan on how to defend ourselves against cyber threats. UMA was pleased to have Senator King participate in the launch of our own Maine cyber range in 2019. Prior to taking office, Senator King served as the 72nd governor of Maine. During his 2 terms in the Blaine House, he focused on economic development and job creation. Then Governor King also achieved significant reforms in education, mental health services, land conservation, environmental protection, and the delivery of state services. I am pleased to welcome Senator King to our virtual commencement.
The first piece of advice I'm going to give you today is, if you ever go into politics, never have a picture taken with a funny hat on. So that's the last you're going to see of the hat today. Congratulations, University of Maine at Augusta classes of 2020 and 2021. It's great to be able to be with you, if only virtually. I really enjoy meeting with graduating classes across the state. And what I'm going to do today is not really give you a normal beginning, middle, and end speech. I'm going to give you 10 things I wish somebody had told me when I was 25. Now, I realize some of you are younger than 25, some of you are older than 25, so I'm trying to split the difference here, but I've tried to think about things that might be useful to you. So let's jump right in. Number 1, take more risks. You can do more than you think you can. I'm convinced that the biggest thing that holds any of us back isn't the world, it isn't our teachers, it isn't the boss, it's the little man that sits on your shoulder and says, you can't do that. The answer is, yes, you can. You can at least try, and you may fail sometimes. Did you ever stop and think there's a multi-million-dollar industry in this country putting erasers on pencils? That means it's okay to make mistakes. The great hockey player Wayne Gretzky once said, I miss 100% of the shots I don't take. Think about that. I miss 100% of the shots I don't take. So you got to take your shots. And that, I don't mean do something dumb, driving on a motorcycle with a case of beer. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is reach further than you think you can. Take some chances. Here's the most important single piece of advice I ever got in my life. And it was just, I was in my early 20s, old man, I think in New Hampshire, said to me, when you get to be my age, you're going to regret things about your life. See that you regret the things you do and not the things you didn't do. See that you regret the things that you did and not the things you didn't do. The saddest words in the English language are if only. If only I had tried. So take more risks. That's number 1. Number 2, be honest even if it hurts. Be honest even if it hurts. It will stand you in good stead. Every now and then you're going to have to fess up. But that will demonstrate your integrity and your honesty. And in the long run, that's what's going to pay off for you. Stopping at a red light with a police officer on each corner doesn't count. Stopping at a red light in the middle of the desert where there are no police officers around, that's being honest. And being honest if you do make a mistake. Number 3. Now, I realize many of you are working or have worked, but I want you to think about this. Think of your first job or your next job or your first job after you leave University of Maine at Augusta as the most important job you'll ever have. Treat it as incredibly important because it's going to be your launching pad. It's how you establish your reputation. And you know, your reputation, your good name, is the one thing that nobody can take away from you. You can lose money and a house and all of those kinds of things, but your good name is what you have, but you can give it away. Don't do it. Your reputation is like sculpting in concrete. Many of you have probably worked with concrete. When you start out, it's very soft. You can put your handprint in it and you can do all those things. But once it sets, it's hard. It takes a jackhammer to change it. If you got a reputation for dishonesty or unreliability, it's very hard to change it. Now, number 4 is real practical. Always carry a $20 bill folded up somewhere on your person. In your shoe, in the back of your wallet, ladies, in the bottom of your purse if you carry one. And you never know when you're going to need that extra bit of cash. When you go to an ATM or your parents, whichever, take an extra 20 out of that little group that you get and fold it up and put it away. I guarantee within a month, you're going to need it. You're going to say, oh, I got that backup 20. I got one right now, folded up between a couple of credit cards in my wallet. All my life, that's been a piece of advice that has worked for me. You'll find that $20 bill a month or 2 months from now, and you'll say, thanks, Angus, good advice. Okay, number 5. See, we're halfway through. That's the nice thing about this speech. Number 5, attitude really is everything. It makes all the difference. You can be the smartest person in the room, but it's your attitude that's going to allow you to influence other people. It's going to allow you to progress. Here's a little funny saying to remember that. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. Think about that for a second. It's your attitude and not your aptitude that determines your altitude. It really makes all the difference. Your attitude is what makes all the difference. Here's a story. You all know, you've seen the little boy on Christmas Day goes down, there's a big pile of presents under the Christmas tree. He opens the ball up, he pulls all the wrappings off, and he looks up at his mom and says, is this all? That's one attitude. The other is the little kid that comes down the stairs and there are no presents under the Christmas tree, but suddenly, he spots a little pile of horse manure in the corner, and he's ecstatic, he's happy, he's bouncing off the walls. His mother says, why are you so happy? He says, because I know there's a pony in here somewhere. That's attitude, and that's what will make all the difference. So be positive. Think about how to make things work, be pleasant, and be a problem solver. That's what people look for in this world. Attitude really is everything. Number 7. Now, I realize this advice is coming a little late for some of you, but I'm going to lay it out anyway. When in doubt, don't get married. When in doubt, don't get married. Now, I'm not against marriage. I have a wonderful marriage, but it's got to be right. It's supposed to be for life. So if you have some doubts, I don't know if this is going to work, I'm not so sure, wait a while. When in doubt, don't get married. And one special piece of advice to my female friends who are in the graduating class, here's the advice. He's not a project. He's not a project. If you don't love that guy for all that he is and everything that he's like, don't assume you're going to be able to fix him along the way, because that never works. And he gets frustrated, you get frustrated. So remember, this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Don't make the assumption that you're going to be able to, shave off those rough corners. It's for better or worse. That's what it says in that marriage ceremony. Okay. Number 8. This is particularly important for your generation. Don't put anything out in cyberspace that you don't want your grandmother to read on the front page of the Bangor Daily News. Your generation has a propensity to sort of feel immortal, to feel like oh, I've got this. No problem. I have a really piece of bad news for you. Employers know how to use Google. Employers might well ask for the password to your Facebook page or your Twitter feed. Don't put anything into cyberspace, and really think about this. I think about it when I'm writing emails. Don't put anything out there that you don't want your grandmother to read on the front page of the Bangor Daily News. That is a pretty good rule, because everything that goes online, I call it a digital tattoo. It's there forever. So think twice before firing off that tweet. Down here in Washington, we've had people who've missed out on major government jobs because of intemperate, nasty tweets that they sent 4 or 5 years ago. Lost major jobs. So be careful about what you put out into cyberspace. Number 9, almost there. Number 9, there's no such thing as a material or geographic cure. And what I mean by that is, if you're not happy in Augusta, Maine, don't assume that if you move to Portland or Boston or New York or Paris, that everything's going to be okay. Your happiness, by and large, is something you carry around between your ears. Again, it goes back to your attitude. But you're not going to be able to change the channel and suddenly find something that you didn't find in your hometown. The same thing for a material cure. If only I had a Harley Davidson, then I'd be happy. Well, actually, my Harley Davidsons along the years have made me happy, but not entirely. You know what I mean. Don't assume that if only you get a convertible or whatever it is, a bigger house, then suddenly all your troubles will be over. There's no such thing as a material or a geographic cure. Number 10, probably the most important. Value your family and friends and never let them down. You're going to have tough times in your life. You're going to have things that go wrong. You're going to have things where you really need somebody to reach out and give you a hand. And it's your family and friends that you're going to count on. But the chances of their being there for you are a lot higher if you're there for them. So a few months or years from now, a friend of yours says, hey, I'm getting married in Chicago. Can you come out? You're going to say, oh, I don't know. It's a long weekend and the airfare is expensive. Go. It's one day. It'll mean everything to them and they'll never forget it. I will never forget being at this funeral of my wife's, Mary's dad, out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we walked into the room, and there sitting in the front row was a friend of ours from Szakas, Maine. We had no idea she was coming. She didn't check with us, but she heard about it. She came to Milwaukee, and she was there for Mary. I've never forgotten it, and neither has Mary. Value your friends and your family and never let them down. The Beatles had a line in one of their songs. If you don't remember the Beatles, you can Google them. Anyway, their line was, the love you get is equal to the love you give. The love you get is equal to the love you give. And so reach out, value those people, hold them close, be there for them, and they'll make all the difference for you when times are tough. Wonderful to have a little bit of time with all of you. I'm sorry again that it can't be in person, but you are, I just looked at my notes. I forgot one. I skipped over one. I'm going to go back and plug this in. It's learn how to have a good handshake and how to make eye contact when you meet someone. Here's an amazing fact, and this is a fact. There have been a lot of research that most interviews, almost all interviews, are over in the first 15 seconds. What I mean by that is the person who's interviewing you makes their decision. They have an impression, they get an impression, and that's it. And after 15 seconds, you may be able to dig yourself out of a hole, you may not. What happens in the first 15 seconds? One of the things is a handshake, a good, firm handshake and eye contact. I tell kids, when I meet a kid on the street, I say, give me 7. Give me 7. 5 fingers, 2 eyes. Give me 7. It makes all the difference to make that connection with someone. So you've just learned that you can have a well-prepared speech and you forget one of your points, you plug it in at the end, and hopefully it still makes some sense to you. Wonderful to have a chance to be with you. Congratulations, University of Maine at Augusta. You guys have really, and I use guys in a non-gender specific way, you all have really achieved something important. And I know many of you have sacrificed mightily to make it happen. So congratulations, Godspeed to the classes of 2020 and 2021.
Thank you, Senator King. Next, I would like to present the Distinguished Alumni Award, which honors a member of UMA's alumni for outstanding achievement in their profession or for their service to the community, state, or country. I am delighted to announce that this year's recipient is Debra McIntyre from the class of 2011. Debra received a Bachelor of Science degree in Mental Health and Human Services from UMA in 2011 with a concentration in addiction studies. She followed her undergraduate accomplishments at Husson College, obtaining a Master of Business Administration in 2012, a Master of School Counseling in 2016, and a Master in Clinical Mental Health Professional Counseling in 2017. She is currently pursuing a Doctor of Psychology degree in Behavioral Health Leadership at Walden University. As a full-time faculty member in the Human Services program at Eastern Maine Community College, Deb was instrumental in launching a 30-credit Substance Abuse Rehabilitation Technician Certificate program. She was a member of the State of Maine Substance Abuse Service Commission for 3 years and is a member of many professional organizations, including the American Counselor Association, American Psychology Association, Maine Counselor Association, and Human Services Association. In addition to teaching at EMCC, Debra also serves as an outpatient clinical counselor. Her passion is helping others lead their best lives, and she has guided countless young adults, empowering them to make choices that had a positive influence on their lives. She instills in her students the importance of not merely gaining knowledge, but applying their education and experiences to help others. Debra credits her positive experience at UMA as providing her with the start she needed, and UMA's Mental Health and Human Services program specifically was a great fit for her, providing the foundation for her to attain her future goals. Debra, on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students, I am pleased to present you with the University of Maine at Augusta's Distinguished Alumni Award. Congratulations to an outstanding UMA alumna. Congratulations, staff.
Thank you.
The University of Maine at Augusta is honored to bestow Travis Mills, retired United States Army Staff Sergeant with an honorary degree of Humane Letters. A member of the 82nd Airborne, Staff Sergeant Mills lost portions of both arms and legs to an active IED while on active duty in Afghanistan in 2012. He survived through the remarkable courage and with the support of healthcare providers at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. As part of his recovery, he participated in an adaptive sports retreat at Crested Butte, Colorado. This had a significant impact on Mills and his family and was important to his continued recovery and rehabilitation. Upon retiring from the United States Army, Staff Sergeant Mills and his wife Kelsey began the Travis Mills Foundation in 2013. A nonprofit organization established to benefit and assist combat-injured veterans and their families through long-term programs that help these heroic men and women overcome physical obstacles, strengthen their families, and provide well-deserved rest and relaxation. Through his foundation, Mills sought a way of recreating the experience he had at Crested Butte. In 2017, the Travis Mills Foundation acquired the historic Main Chance Lodge in Rome, originally built by Elizabeth Arden, and refurbished it into a barrier-free, fully accessible retreat in the Belgrade Lakes region of Maine. The renovated lodge is a retreat for veterans and their families to find camaraderie, to allow for reconnection and relaxation, and to encourage recovery. The University of Maine at Augusta is privileged to recognize Travis Mills for his contributions to our country and his continued support of veterans and their families with an honorary degree. With the approval of the University of Maine System Board of Trustees, it is my privilege to present Travis Mills with an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters from the University of Maine at Augusta. Provost Szakas, would you please join me at the podium? Congratulations.
At this point in our ceremony, it is my honor to present the 2020 candidates for degrees and certificates. I would ask that the candidates stand. President Wyke, today we confer degrees and certificates in the Bachelor of Applied Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Architecture, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, Associate of Arts, Associate of Applied Arts, Associate of Science, and the Certificate in Dental Assisting. Upon successful completion of all requirements, they have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the University of Maine System's Board of Trustees. I, therefore, have the honor to present them to you so that they may have their respective degrees conferred upon them.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the University of Maine at Augusta, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of Maine System, in accordance with the authority vested in them by the state, as president, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree or certificate for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and privileges thereto pertaining. Congratulations. Now I would like to share with you part of my favorite poem, The Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. My late mother shared this poem with me when I was young, and it has continued to provide me with guidance throughout my life. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery, but let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Remember, you are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. The diploma you receive today is a symbol of the knowledge you have acquired in your selected course of study. However hard you work for that diploma, whatever obstacles you overcame, and as valuable as that piece of paper seems to you and your future, a diploma means nothing without the courage to believe in yourself and what you can accomplish, to stretch your boundaries and to stand your ground, and the heart to follow your dreams and to bring good into the world whenever possible. Armed with your diplomas and the knowledge you have gained, my charge to you is to be courageous and compassionate, to go forth and make a positive difference in your career, in your community, and beyond.